MattStine, and I'm going to be teaching a workshop on Vim, which is a very powerful text editor, and Tmux, which is a terminal multiplexer. Well, why would I be interested in either one of those? Well, let's talk about Vim first. Several years ago, I took the fork in the road. The road being, do I use Emacs or do I use Vim? Little did I know that I was essentially changing my editing DNA for life. Once you make the choice to go one route or the other, it tends to stick with you. But then over time I moved into the world of programming with IDEs in Java and using the mouse a lot for development. And over time, as I started to do more polyglot programming and working with many different languages, my IDE wouldn't cope well with all the languages I wanted to write code in. And so I was having to use multiple tools to get work done. And then I moved into the world of writing articles and blog posts, and I was using yet a different tool to edit that content. And I started to miss the idea of having certain features in one tool that I couldn't have in another tool. And I remembered the tip that I read a few years back in the Pragmatic Programmer, which said you ought to use a single editor well. And this took me back into the world of considering Vim for all of my work. So I now use Vim for all of the code that I write, whether it be Java code, Ruby code, JavaScript, HTML, Puppet code, and also write all the articles that I produce in the editor. This allows me to be very productive because I don't have to learn a new set of tools to get jobs done. And Vim provides us with incredibly powerful tools for manipulating documents, for moving around and finding text within documents, recording macros, and other tools to help us keep our hands on the keyboard and not waste time hunting for things with the mouse. So that's one tool that I'm going to teach you, and my hope is to kind of move you into the world of being an advanced beginner with Vim. Second tool we want to look at is Tmux. One thing that Vim gives us is the ability to carve our workspace up into multiple panes where we can be editing and working with different files in different panes. Well, that's great, but I'd like to be able to do that with my terminal as well. I'd love to be able to have an editor open over here and a terminal window open here where I can run commands, maybe a window open over here that has top so I can see what my processor's doing. And without something like Tmux, I would have to run multiple different terminal windows and things would start to overlap and I'd have to, again, move around with the mouse to get things done. With Tmux, I can carve my terminal window up in much the same way that I would carve it up with Vim, and it gives me many of the same tools for searching for text, viewing text, manipulating text that I have in Vim, except to use it at the level of the terminal. So I'm also going to give you tools to help you use this and configure it for your workflow. The hope to be to allow you to build your own IDE out of the terminal, Vim, and the other programs that you use at the command line. Keep your hands on the home row and make you a more productive programmer.